We're going to start off with how I make my template for my dust covers on Canva, and then how I upload them to the Cricut design space. So first, just open up Safari or whatever you use for your internet browser. Go to create a design. Once you go to it, it really doesn't matter which one you choose. I normally choose the Instagram post just because it's a regular square, background. Excuse me. I start with elements. I choose two circles just to start off with. The background, I go ahead and change to black. You don't have to do this. You can just choose whichever that you want. But me, preferably, I just choose black just because it makes it a little easier, and you'll see why. So then with the second circle, just go ahead and make this small. Now this is going to be your tab, like the tab for your dust cover. So you can make it as small as you want it or as big as you want it. This looks silly, but or you can make it as, this is a good size. Like for me, that's a pretty good size. And then I'll post a picture also. That way you guys can see what it looks like in real life. Next, I'm going to get a third circle, and this third circle is basically just going to be for the wick holder. For the wick placement. Now, it doesn't have to be a circle. I use wooden wicks, so in that case, you can get a square and then just change the shape. You can make it smaller and then go like this, for example. Usually these numbers down here, the width, for example, I pay attention to kinda, but once you put it in the Cricut Design Studio, you can go ahead and do more as far as sizing. So with the circle, with Canva, it's pretty good because they help you center it, which I've actually thought about making a couple of these as like wick centering tools also. Like you can print these out on cardstock or harder material. If you have clear vessels, you can put your vessel over top of it. Just to like help you with the placement of the wick, which is actually a really good idea. So there is another option for this. So just make this whatever size you honestly think will suffice. Canva will help you center it. So I mean that looks like a pretty normal insert for the wick. I go ahead and change this to black too, just so in my mind, boom, it's it's already the dust cover. So then you can go ahead and choose your text. I usually don't use the heading for this only because it makes it look, pretty bold and pretty big. I do the add subheading. Fonts, you can go ahead and play around with the fonts. The ones that I use the most are like Marta, Monster, Classic, a lot of nice cursive. I have not used this. But you can use like some really cool fonts or even import fonts. You can upload them here. But I'm going to go and use just this one just for, just because. Let's see. Dust. Let me move this up a little bit so you can see. Dust cover. Cool. Why not? Right? Now just go ahead and size it. Okay, and that's pretty good. Usually what I do with my brand, with my company, I have my brand name here, my company name here, and then underneath of it, I have like, home decor or hand poured, like whatever you want to put there. Change that font. I usually don't use cursive underneath of it only because it's a little bit harder to read. I'll just use this one for the time being, and you can just put like home decor or like whatever you want. Hand poured, it's up to you. I size that up a little bit more. Canva again will come through and help you center it. Now this is the fun part, the design. So you can go ahead back to elements or uploads. Like if you have your own photo, these are like some of my drawings that I did. I'm an illustrator also. So here are some of like my drawings that I uploaded from Procreate. Things like that. But you can go to elements or photos. Let's just say elements for the time being. In Canva is a whole bunch of different things. I'll actually show you guys how to do a dust cover also, but using the frame. This is really good if you have like your own pictures, if you have photos you want to add to the dust cover. So if you use a plain circle, it won't work if you just, I'll show you. So let's say these figs, right? You take these figs, you put it over, it'll just add to the background. It won't actually go into the dust cover. So I'll actually show you guys how to do that also. So let's just scroll down and let's just find something. Let's say some flowers here. These are really pretty. Let's see. I mean, it doesn't have to be. This is just a demo anyway. So, all right, let's just say this one. Let's say you add some flowers here. You know, and you just decorate it like the way you want to. Okay, so let's say we settled here, right? Let's get some fun lines. So this is like literally my favorite part is the decorating, because you can literally do like whatever you want as far as design wise is concerned. The possibilities are endless, especially with Canva. I do have Canva Pro, so that does make it a lot easier for me when it comes to design wise. All of these things you can use it like for whatever you want. I don't like that one. Okay, well, let's just stop here. Okay, so let's just go back to text, and we're going to do another small body text. And this basically is just going to be like whatever your candle name is. For example, I'm just going to open this up so it's easier to read. Now, let's say if this scent is, let's see. Let's say Desert Blossom, just for right now. Okay. Okay, so let's just go ahead and size this. You can like do like literally whatever you want as far as like the design wise and the layout. This is actually cute, the flowers. So okay, we have Desert Blossom here if you want. Okay, this one you can't make bold, but okay, let's say Desert Blossom here. As far as the color of the dust cover also, if you want to change the color to like something that's like close to whatever, all of your pictures here or whatever you use, it will come here, document colors. I prefer white just for right now. So then once you get done, let's pretend we're done here. Just go to download. Download here, and then suggested is the PNG high quality image. PNG is supported by almost everything, so it's best to do PNG. I mean, or you can do JPEG, but the only problem with this is going to save it as a small file size, which can make this blurry, but it can make anything you're exporting with Canva blurry also. So PNG, and then the size. The size is really important also. As you'll see, if you try to max the size out, it'll tell you that increasing the image means that your design may take longer to download. But this also could increase the risk of blurriness also, just because depending on what you're using, it may not be able to load enough, so it'll be blurry. If you do it too low, it'll still be blurry. For the purpose of the Cricut Design Studio, anything above 1.5 honestly is too big. I've tried 2.5, two, it was too big. 1.5 seemed fine. When you export it as a transparent background. This is only for PNG. Now, this is going to be important when you export it to the Cricut design space, solely because it's going to get rid of all the background. So when you get to the design space, you won't have to remove it on your own. So go ahead and download that cute little message. Okay, so this is basically your dust cover. See how the background was removed, but the circle, for example, is still there. So we're going to close out of this and then open up the Cricut design space. Ignore this. Okay, she's starting. So okay, so here we go. So we're going to start with a new project. Let me actually turn the Cricut on. That should help. Make sure I'm connected. Okay, so that'll be fine. Okay, so once I'm in here, go to upload. And then you're going to upload an image. You're going to take that picture that you literally just did, and you're just going to drag it over here. Over here, you're going to select the image type. Simple, moderately complex, and complex. I choose complex. So we're going to hit continue. go ahead and back out, and then you'll be able to see the dust cover. Now, this is the reason why I said when you have it up here to export it as a PNG, and then transparent background, because this black background, as soon as you put it on here, it automatically removes, like it's gone. So the only thing you have to do is get rid of the hole for the wick cover. I mean, for the wick. Now, this is how I did it before. The very first time I tried this, I just like erased it, and it's not that accurate. It leaves little ridges. I mean, that's ugly. So we're gonna go to select and erase. Just boop. Just tap that circle, and bam, your wick is space is open for your wick. Go ahead and continue. You always want to do, well, me preferably, I would like to do save as a print and then cut image. That way I can send it to my printer first, which I'm going to turn on right now, and then also cut it with the Cricut. So once you're in here, now this is a really important part as well. As far as with your sizing that you'll need, so we're going to insert the image. Now it's going to come up super big. Now, as far as with the sizing is concerned, for it, let me actually open this up. So with the sizing for it, check the size, well, the diameter of your glass, which is really important. I usually do maybe like 3 points under. So for example, right now I have the Candle Science straight sided tumbler jar. It's the regular glass one. It's 3.06 in diameter. So my dust cover, I would keep it way under 3.6. So between 3.2 and 3.4, just so, and 3.4 actually make it kind of snug also. If you want to have some space, like where some little wax is exposed, I would say maybe a 0.1, but for the purpose of this, I'm going to do a 0.02. I'm going to unlock this and change the size that I'm going to use, which is this one, and the same over here. Okay, and just lock that back. So okay, so now I have the sizing, which is perfect. Now, right now I'm just using regular lightweight cardstock, mainly because I'm using a coconut wax blend. Typically, as you guys know that use coconut wax, the coconut wax is a lot it's softer. It's a lot softer. So I didn't want to use the thicker dust cover on cardstock material, only because I didn't want to risk damaging the candle itself. So usually with this size you can get about, I would say about 3 or 4 candle covers. Why isn't this working? Okay, there we go. I'm just going to do 4 for the purpose of this video. And guys, this was literally my first time. Well, not this time, but I bought the Cricut a couple of days ago. It was literally like my first time trying it out. It's my first time making dust covers. I am very familiar with Canva. I use Canva a lot, even before I started making candles. So that was like my saving grace there. I'm still going to play around in here, but the same thing applies. Like you can do shapes, choose your shapes in here. If you're going to do just the Cricut design space, and even if you don't have Canva Pro, you can still use regular Canva to make the template, or you can do the same thing I did on Canva, the 2 circles, make one smaller, you can group them together. And if you guys want to see me do it on here as well, just let me know, just for those who don't use Canva. So now we're going to make it. Now, when you make it, it's going to have the layout right here. Usually this little border, it'll show you how much space you have left. I can get about 2 more, but for some reason it cuts it off. If you guys have smaller candles, you can play around with the size the same way I showed you, and go from there. We're going to go to continue. We're going to send it to my printer. I do use an Epson ET2760 series printer. It's one of the refillable ink printers, which is the inkjet, and it is the best printer I ever had. Like, I've had a few HPs actually, laser jets, and the cartridges were super expensive. I felt bad about like my eco input, like my footprint on the world, like just throwing these cartridges away. With these, they're just bottles. You literally just refill them and it lasts so much longer. I'm gonna just do 1 copy, and the add bleed here, I normally turn this off You can keep it on, but we already removed the background is good and the little circle that we cut out, so we don't really need to add bleed. This is just in case if we want the color to like kind of pull outwards, just in case. So then we're gonna go ahead and print this, and then choose the material that you use. Again, I'm using a light cardstock because of the type of wax that I use, so it just makes more sense for me to do that way. It is kind of matte. It's pretty much matte. Now, excuse that noise in the background. That is going to be my printer doing its thing. What I would recommend also is they do have different types of cardstock paper, so depending on the type of wax you use, I would say just go with that if you are deciding to do a dust cover. The light cardstock just seems best for me for softer wax, only because when you put it down there, and I did test it also, once you put the cover on top of the candle, it actually is pretty easy pulling it off. It doesn't leave scratches behind. I did have a harder cardstock also, which was the heavier one. And that one, it messed my candle up. Fortunately, it was just a tester. So, okay, so while that's printing out, usually what you'll do next is you'll load the tools and materials. So then you'll take your Cricut mat, whichever one that you use, you'll upload your paper onto, well, your printed paper with your dust covers onto your Cricut mat, and then you'll put it in the Cricut machine. Once you take it out, put in the Cricut machine, it'll cut it out, and then there you go. You just pull it off. If you have the scraper tool, just scrape it off from there. I'll post a photo after the video just so you guys can see how the photo turned out after the fact also. What I would recommend when choosing your cardstock, I have seen that there are glossy cardstocks, like in Walmart and stuff like that. That's where I got the ones I have right now from. They are actually by, let's see. Okay, these are by Nina. They're the bright white cardstock, the 65 pounds. I normally just choose the 60 on the circuit machine because, they don't know. It's still like around the same pressure for the cutter tool. They do sell them on Amazon a lot more quantity for a lot cheaper than Walmart also. So, I mean, there's that. But I have seen the glossy ones. Depending on the type of the material you choose, it will affect like the quality of the picture or the colors you do. But just play around with your printer settings also. I played around with mine, so I don't really have an issue right now. But I am still want to look into ones that have a glossier top just to make the colors pop a little bit more. But yep, that's it. If you guys want to see me make a video, actually, let me go back. Okay, I'll make this smaller. I'm actually going to show you guys how to do the same dust cover but using a photo background. So this is the dust cover that we made already. So let's say if we want to go to a photos or just add a picture here, just type in whatever you want. Let's say desert. That's definitely not desert. Okay, any day now. Okay, there we go. So let's say with this background here, we have the regular white background. You can go ahead and go back to elements, exit out of this, my loud printer, and take frames. So this essentially is the frame that you want to use. And then the same thing applies. You want to get a separate one for this little baby piece. If you want to leave it white, you can. But let's just go ahead and size this out. We're going to make this, it's going to be our new tab. And for this circle, we're going to remove this as well and just slide this back here. And we're going to push it to the back. Now, some of you guys also, you'll notice with certain things, it's only if there was a background. You can just click it, and then usually it'll have a remove background feature. But this is going to be our new dust cover. Usually what I do is I actually group all of this together. So let's see. Okay, so just kind of click out and then just highlight like this, and then you're actually going to be able to group it. Now when you group it, it is one piece. It's just one piece, so it won't move around. If you want to ungroup it, same thing, just click on it, ungroup. But we're going to go to pictures because it is a desert blossom candle. And I have desert up now. Let's just say, for the sake of the video, this looks pretty deserty. Okay, and then you just want to take just a picture and you're gonna put it over here. Okay, so see, it's on there. That's not a cute desert background, but oh, let's just use this one. Okay, so you just want to kind of roll it around. It does what it wants to do, honestly. Like, okay, there we go. Very busy. But for the sake of the video, this is just how you would do it. Same thing for this, and then you'll get the color. And so as you'll see, if I were to just have the regular white one, it would just like sit on top of it like that. There's really no way to cut it unless you go to Cricut, and then you can slice it, but that's just too much. This is the easier way to do it. And then the same thing applies. Download PNG 1.5 transparent background and download, and then you'll see the same exact thing. Once it's done, it'll pull up like this. It looks really busy because I just threw a background in there, but you can play around with that also. So yeah, and if you guys want to see anything else, or how to, well, especially how to set everything inside of Canva, I'm sorry, the Cricut design space, just comment and let me know, and then I'll make a separate video for that also. Now at this point, I've already printed the labels out. I'm going to go ahead and cut them out, do the Cricut, and then I'll post a photo.